Welcome back to another episode of Off Script with Emma. Today I have the absolute honour and privilege of interviewing my very first guest. This person has been my rock, my biggest cheerleader in my career change and just in life. And today you get to hear from him yourself. He's gone from drive in, drive out, fly in, fly out, climbing the ranks in mining to project managing, all the things. So it's a little bit of a different episode today, but I know that you'll love it. I'll see you in there. Hi, my love.
Hello.
Thank you for being my first guest.
I'm honoured. I've been looking forward to it for a while.
I wanted you to be my first guest, and I have ummed and ahed about how this conversation would go. Originally, it was just a chat between the two of us about our move, everything we've done, partly my story, and then I have evolved and we've had conversations in that what I want this to be is that I'm interviewing people and getting to know them and their side. And I know your story, but I think a lot of people are interested to hear your story and where you, I guess, started and where you are now. So to give people context, give us like a quick overview of your kind of starting point and where you are now.
First of all, it's pretty cool being the first guest on the show. I think we've got a pretty cool story.
Mm-hmm.
It started, born and bred in Maitland, went preschool through to year 12 at the same school right the way through. Finished school, went to uni, worked full time pretty much from the day I left school. And I worked a field that I was studying in, being construction management. It took me 6 years to finish my uni degree. Ever since then, I've been chasing bigger and better things. And I think I've landed in a place now that provides me with not only good pay, but a fantastic lifestyle. And it's certainly a big contributor as to why we're sitting in this pretty snazzy little house we've got there.
A snazzy house.
Yeah, I think that's the word for it.
Yeah. It's pretty snazzy.
It is pretty snazzy. That's the overview of the story.
Yeah. So the position that you're in now is not, I guess the position that we're in now is not considered the normal or the status quo. So I'm interested more so to go back to, you said you went to the same school for your whole life.
Years,
yeah. And then you went to uni. So I guess start there. Talk about why you went in the path that you did and what was the influence?
Yeah, so when it got to like year 10 in school, a lot of my mates were leaving to go and do apprenticeships and that sort of stuff. I thought, oh, that was pretty cool. And I always just had this thing in my mind about, like, I just want to work. It kind of sounds weird, but I think I'm motivated to work hard, earn money, and live a comfortable lifestyle. Even through like my packing shelves at Big W was my first job. You know, I'd work till 10 o'clock on a school night, and then there'd be a little bit left to do, and I'd be ringing mum at 10 o'clock saying, oh, I just need to stay back for another half an hour and get this thing. No, you got school tomorrow. Anyway, always been motivated to work hard. So anyway, get to year 10 at school, mates start dropping out. They go work at WestTrack, Komatsu, plumbing apprenticeships, and they're making money, and I'm stuck at school. But my dad sat me down one day and he goes, you're not leaving, you're finishing year 12. And I wasn't real happy about it at the time, but he did say, trust me, it'll be worth it in the long run. And I think I remember I was pretty shitty at the time. I was like, fucking righto, no worries. Year 12 it is, you're going to uni. Yes, Dad, no worries. And finished my HSC, just scraped through with enough ATAR to get into construction management at Newcastle Uni. I'm very thankful for my dad to this day that he made me do that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today without doing what he basically told me to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's always been a big part of your life and a mentor for you in a way too. And at the time you weren't happy about it, but probably just because your mates were doing what they were doing and you wanted to follow suit. Yeah.
They had the cool cars and the boats.
They weren't at school.
They weren't at school. And
they weren't at school.
Yeah, I was a bit jealous of that.
Yeah. And so you went to uni for 6 years and you were doing construction management and you were also working at the time. So
Yeah.
tell us about that period of time where you were working and studying, and I guess how you felt about how things were going. Did you feel good about it? What was that journey like?
Yeah, I felt great about it. Like, I love what I do in construction management, project management, building cool stuff. Like, I'm always had this goal in mind of building the coolest infrastructure projects all over the world. Like, I've always just wanted to grow and move on to bigger and better things. So I still to this day say I'm very lucky. When I started uni, I pretty quickly realized that, yeah, I'm gonna get a bit of paper at the end of the day, but there was a lot more that I could be learning, and I reached out to, I'm gonna say maybe 50 local builders in the Newcastle area. Just randomly, I sat there for days going through, the yellow pages online, through the old phone book, and I was just sending my resume to builders, and I said basically, hi, my name's Dylan, studying construction management at uni, really want some hands-on experience on site in the industry to complement what I'm learning in the classroom. One person wrote back to me. His name was Mardo, and I owe a lot to Mardo. He became almost part of my family there for 5.5 years. I worked for him. Sort of on and off, a little bit complicated, but 5.5 years we were working together. Put me on as his little protege.
Can I ask, what was his business like? Was he successful? Would you see him as like a successful businessman?
Well, he has an off-script story too, actually. Yeah. He'd probably be a pretty good guest for you one day, maybe. Mardo had just bought out a branch of another company and made it his own. He hadn't even rebranded it to his own yet. So he was very new to that sort of solo business experience. But he told me he'd always had this plan in mind that one day he would employ a university student and mold him or her into the perfect fit for his business. And I was lucky enough to be that person.
Was anybody else doing that? Like, was it a norm that if you were doing any kind of construction degree that you would typically try to get some hands-on experience?
Typically, no. I can probably recall 2 or 3 other people that were working while they were studying, and they were actually a little bit older than me. I was straight out of school, straight into work. And I think as I got later into the degree, people started getting close to the end. They start getting jobs, which I think's fairly standard-ish. But to the best of my knowledge, I was,
What did you think was important about having that hands-on experience alongside your degree? Because there are a lot of people, and it's a construction industry where you have your degree. So you've learned a lot in said classroom. And then you get into the workplace and you have to learn the hands-on. So how did you know, or what did you see about that kind of experience being almost a leg up or a better way to get a bit like a bigger foot in the door for you when you started working?
Yeah, it was a leg up, and it made the learning easier. Like, I would have struggled at uni if it wasn't for working full time. When you sit there in a classroom and the engineering lecturer is teaching you about timber house frame construction, he's talking about bears and joists and top plates and trusses, and like if I wasn't at work, I would have no idea what any of that means. And they just rattle it off and assume that you know. So yeah, massive advantage. I would absolutely recommend, and I have recommended that to a lot of people, to do the academic work. But the best engineers that I've seen in my experience now, I'm 10 years in the construction industry, the best engineers, the best project managers, supervisors have that hands-on experience and have worked from the ground up.
What do you think, having both sides, so degree and hands-on experience, why does that make people better in the industry? How does it give you a leg up?
You solve problems daily. And the textbook says that example A is the way to fix problem A, and it's not always the case. Like, when you're a young engineer and you're trying to explain to an excavator operator who's been pulling levers for 40 years how to do his job,
it's not going to go down well.
It doesn't go down well. It doesn't go down at all. If you take that collaborative approach and you have half an idea about what you're talking about, it makes those conversations a lot easier and you ultimately end up with a better result, better product at the end of the day.
And I think that could be said in a lot of industries, that if you have done the thing and then you're in a role where you're having to lead or project manage or solve problems or manage people, being able to say, hey, I've been in your shoes, I've done the thing. Do you find that people respect you more, listen to you more because you've been able to say, I actually know what you're going through, what you're doing, I've done the thing? Yeah,
I'm a big believer of one of my philosophies anyway is never asking someone to do something you're not prepared to do yourself. So like today, we ripped half our deck out of the backyard today.
And you built a railing.
And I built a little handrail. I wouldn't ask someone else to do that. It's a shitty job. I would ask someone else to do that because I know what's involved.
Yeah.
And I know how long it'll take. I know the tools that they need. I understand the frustration that might come with it because it's an old shitty deck. I was probably going to fall apart soon on its own.
Didn't realize there was a massive hole under it. So I guess to give context, you finished after 6 years, you were working with Mardo, you were on site, and then you basically got into mining.
Civil construction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I finished my university degree end of 2020, just wanted to seek bigger projects, and I was lucky enough to land a site engineer role with a very reputable New South Wales-based civil construction company. They're quite a large company, but they're still family owned, and 1,000 employees. You walk into the head office and you sit in meetings, and it still had that same feel about it like it had with Mardo, with half a dozen people under him compared to the 1,000 people that was still there. And I got to know like the department managers and stuff almost on like a personal level, which was still really, really cool. So, I worked for them for 3.5 years, got into mining projects, again, just chasing the bigger projects, the bigger feathers in the cap kind of thing, and ended up working on a project for said civil company in Muswellbrook, New South Wales.
And that was the start of your Dido, what do they call it? Dido, so drive in, drive out. Yeah. Journey.
Wasn't the start of the journey, no. The start of the Dido journey was actually when I started in civil. So for as long as I worked for that company, 3.5 years, I was Dido everywhere. So I never actually built a civil earthworks, civil engineering project in Newcastle. They were always up the Hunter Valley, and I was staying away from Sunday night, or if I didn't leave on a Sunday night, I was leaving at Sparrows on Monday morning and getting home late on a Friday night.
How long were you doing that before we met? I think you had been...
I started with them at the start of 2021 and we had met...
This will test your knowledge. We met in COVID. Yeah. And you were still driving out to work.
Yeah.
So you were essential.
That was like
we were both
year
essential.
After that was like 18 months. I'd been doing that before you and I had met.
And so basically all we have known is you away working.
Yep.
And like you said, leaving on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Back on a Friday night.
Before that, before I finished up with Mardo, I was driving all over New South Wales.
Doing the jobs. And even in the Housing Commission. Is that when you were doing all those jobs? Yeah.
They were all over the place.
Yeah. And so drive in, drive out, you started working Sunday to Friday. What was the motivation to do that? A lot of people are not in a position where they like the idea of leaving on a Sunday, getting back on a Friday. What was the motivation?
So the motivation to do the drive-in, drive-out work for me was, again, the money. So everything back to when I was packing shelves at Big W, I just wanted to work. And the doing Dido, we got a living away from home allowance every week that I just saw as a bonus on top of my pay. So, at the time I was single as well. So it was almost a bit crazy to not...
What else were you going to do?
Yeah. Not take that opportunity to, made really no difference to me whether I was sleeping in a hotel in Wagga or at home, other than I was getting $50 or $60 a night
Yeah.
as an allowance to live away from
And it was
home.
tax-free as well.
Tax-free.
Yeah, tax-free living away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Money was the motivator. And then started into the civil was the bigger projects as well. So those big mining infrastructure projects. The first mining project I worked on was about 100 million worth of work that we had at this coal mine. Huge project, bridges, rail, big bulk earthworks, like pretty cool project to have on a resume. So
okay, so you and I met, and we met during COVID.
Yep.
Continued with drive in, drive out.
Yep.
So talk about, from your perspective, when did things start to shift in that, because you'd been working for this company for a really long time. Where was that moment, and what was the shift for you where you started to realize that maybe you weren't in the best case scenario, even though you were living away from home, you were earning good money? What was the shift?
The shift was, so the third civil project I did, again at a different coal mine, this time in the Hunter Valley. It's quite a complex, high risk civil earthworks project. We had a lot of client representatives on site supervising, project managing, safety, compliance, all that sort of stuff on a day-to-day basis. And we got to know those client representatives really, really well.
Can you explain, because I, for a long time, didn't really understand the dynamic of things. So can you just explain for people client side and contractor side?
Yeah, so in what context? Like
just in yours. So basically, because
context,
I always, whenever you would talk about certain people, I would always get confused. And so just for people to have really clear context, it's basically like the people who own said thing. Mine example. And then you've got the contractors, the people who come and do the work there. So you are on the which side?
So at this point in time, I was still on the contractor side. So mining company reaches out to civil engineering company, gets a quote, quote's approved. We go to site to do that job. Usually because they either don't have the resources or they don't have the right workforce, specialized skills to
do the
perform
job.
those projects themselves.
And so you were working on this job?
I actually put my hand up for this job. I wanted to put myself out there again, take another step up the ladder. And I had been promoted from site engineer to project engineer for this particular project, which was pretty cool. So we got stuck into that for 2.5 years. And like I said, over that time, we'd gotten to know our client representatives really well. They were on site full-time, managing us as the contractor to make sure that we were following the mine's safe and health management system. They were also monitoring our quality as well. At the end of the day, they had to sign off on the risks associated with the product that we were leaving them at the end of the day. There was one client rep in particular. One day he was just like, "The fuck are you guys doing?" And we're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You could be earning so much more and working so much less. What do you mean you drove up here on Sunday night? That's rubbish. What are you doing that for?" I'm like, "That's the job." And he's like, "Well, I'm getting this, and this, and I'm working 7 days on and 7 days off, and blah, 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 and making this much money." And we're like, "You shouldn't really tell us that for a start." But really? Yeah, really. Yeah, right. And that was the light bulb moment when he'd realised, cut this part out if you want, but he always used to get up me and one of my other mates for being stuck on the boob.
No, I think that's fine.
He's like, "You just need to get off the boob. You're working for the man. All we're doing is lining the pockets of the owner of the company." Which is fine. Like, you know, he's obviously takes a huge risk to still own and run that family-owned private company. Has a lot of turnover, a lot of risk for him. But that particular person, just
that was the turning point.
That was a turning point. I opened my eyes to whole different world, whole different perspective on the world.
And this was timely as well, because this was when I was in the thick of teaching. Well, no, this was, I think, when I was doing the AP and the DP.
You were
role
doing
at one point.
about 5 different roles, it seemed,
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you touched on that in episode 2.
Yeah, I did. That was definitely the thick part, because that was when I started to question things.
I think I came home from work one day and I said, you know what these mining guys told me that they're on? And like, we obviously knew their roster. Like, they were 7 days on, 7 days off. Or the supervisors were anyway. Like, you could see that.
Yeah.
I was like, you know how much money these guys are making? And they're working half the time? Insane.
Yeah.
And then,
Sparked a lot of conversation.
It took a couple of months for, I was sort of prodding and probing, and, there was always that fear of the unknown working for a mining company as a contractor. It's like the coal price plummets and it's not great at the moment. People lose their jobs. Contractors lose their jobs. They're the first ones to go. And I've seen that very recently firsthand.
We've just seen it up here. Like, one of the Queensland mines shut down. Wasn't that the whole?
Yeah, one of the mines up here's gone in care and maintenance, 750 jobs.
Yeah. So there's risk.
There's huge risk. Even from my team that I work in now, we've lost 3 people, and in the rest of in the bigger team, there's half a dozen people that have lost their jobs recently. But anyway, so it took a lot of convincing to leave that safety net of the family-owned private company. I decided I wanted to see out that project I'd started as the lead engineer, and I did that, and then I resigned, and we moved to Queensland.
Yeah,
took the plunge.
We did.
We took the plunge.
Do you think, though, you had that moment where you realised what they were doing? Do you feel like this opportunity just kind of landed in your lap, or do you feel like from the moment that you realised what other people were doing that you were then acting differently, talking to people? I know you said you were probing a little bit there. What action did you take?
I was talking to a lot of people. One of the project managers in Muswellbrook there, Daniel, shout out to Daniel. He'd be another good guest for your show. He employs a lot of people up here. I owe pretty much everything to him for the opportunity that he gave me. But it was funny, the other week, it was his birthday. We were having a beer at his house, and he introduced me to his middle daughter, and he goes, "This is Dylan. Daddy saw a lot of potential in Dylan when Daddy was working down in Newcastle. He moved up here with his girlfriend." They were his exact words. Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was only the other week, but that'll stick in my mind.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, it felt pretty cool. He's a pretty successful guy and very well known in Central Queensland. So to hear him say that to his daughter, it was pretty special. Yeah. But that all comes back to what we spoke about at the start, is that hard work. Yeah. Get your hands dirty. Yeah. Get sweaty. 100%. And just the work ethic that comes into it as well. And I think what I've even just learned listening to this from start to end to where you are now, that is a common thread for you, is that you work hard, you have a lot of grit, but you also have a set of skills that not just in the hands-on job that you do and the problem solving that you do, but a theme that I've seen all throughout is that you are very good at building relationships with people. And that's a huge part of doing well in any industry, is that you can communicate well, you can problem solve, and you can get in and get shit done. And I think you have progressed a lot quicker than most people have to be in the position that you're in. But a lot of that, I think, is your work ethic. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah. I don't want to go down the work ethic topic because I can talk about that for hours. Again, and similar to how I got my first role with Mardo, I put myself out there to Daniel, to this mining company that we were working for. I got offered the job, and I spoke to a lot of people about it. We'd even contemplated going overseas and working overseas at some stage. I think you mentioned that in one of your earlier episodes. I don't know if I mentioned it, but we were basically in this, what can we do? Like, let's be big, let's be bold. And I think it had come, the conversation of overseas was that you had written in a notebook somewhere, I think when you turned 18, that one of your biggest goals and dreams was to build skyscrapers overseas. And a big part of our relationship is making sure that we're
encouraging each other and like biggest cheerleader in everything that we do. And I think that for me that's a massive dream for you. I've never really had a huge dream of doing certain things. And so to me, it was like, well, if you have this dream, then if we pursue that, I can teach from anywhere. That was mainly the conversation, is that I could teach from anywhere. How did you feel in the transition? Because you had gone from the safety net of working for this smaller family-owned business. You had a set wage, income. You would have what's called safe.
Yep.
So how did you find the transition going
scary.
to contractor? Yeah.
Very scary. It gave me a lot of head noise. And the onboarding process to start the job took a very, very long time as well. And the longer it dragged on, the more nervous it made us.
Actually, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We weren't always 100% as to whether it was happening or not.
And then we started applying for rentals and started trying to lease out our houses that we had in Newcastle and Maitland, and we were all in and we still didn't have the job. We're like, oh God, what have we done?
I completely forgot about this until now. You've just brought it up. Maybe I shut it out.
And we committed everything to moving, and I hadn't even gotten the job yet because I thought I would have had it, and it hasn't come through. And I'm like, oh God, this is what I was worried about. They're gonna back out. And
I remember this though.
High and dry.
Yeah.
And I've already quit my job.
Yeah.
But it came through.
Yeah.
But it was nervous times, and to make the decision and have the conversation with my boss at the time was a difficult conversation. But his exact words to me when I told him were, and I explained, some of the details. He went, "Fuck me, can I come too?"
Yeah.
That was like my 3-up boss.
Yeah.
He's like, Dill, you're mad if you don't do this. Like, you got to go and give it a try. And if it fails, give us a call. There's a spot here for you.
I think we both had that. We both have, and I still have, and you probably still have. We have safety nets back home.
We have safety nets. And I wanted to touch on that because it's very important, is when we take these big leaps of faith, just make sure you have some sort of fallback plan. It is scary. It is risky. I think the rewards outweigh the risk.
Absolutely.
In this case, for sure.
In terms of having something to fall back on, not something that is going to make you be half in, half out in what you pursue, because you know that you've got this nice, safe something to go back to. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but just a safety net in that you're not going to end up broke and homeless. Something where if you had to start again, that's okay, but you've at least got somewhere to live and some type of small income.
Yeah, correct.
Because sometimes what I've learned, especially coming into sales, and the women that I have spoken to and have come to me for advice, is that if you have too much of a safety net to go back to, you will go back to it because things get hard, and then you want to turn around and go back. So it felt scary for you to take that leap, go on the contractor side, a lot of risk. It's been over a year now.
It's been almost 18 months.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's awesome. I love it.
So tell people the difference compared to what you were doing back home.
So money aside, obviously, the difference is now I leave home. I leave home very early on a Monday morning, which is quite similar to what I was doing previously. That part's probably the same, but it's a Monday morning. It's never a Sunday night. It's a Monday morning. I get on a plane at 6 o'clock from Brisbane. I fly to Moranbah. I then get on a plane on a Thursday night in Moranbah at 6 o'clock PM, and I fly back to Brisbane. I'm back in the comfort of our own home by 9 o'clock on a Thursday night. And that's my week, every single week. I haven't, touch wood, I haven't had to spend a Friday in Moranbah
Just yet?
in 18 months. And then I work from home on a Friday in the comfort of my own home, in my trackies or in my boardies or whatever I feel like doing. So lifestyle, you can't, there's no comparison. There's no comparison to the lifestyle that it offers.
What would you say to people who, because I was one of these people that used to look at FIFO, more so people who were doing longer weeks of
Yeah,
work. I
2
always,
weeks, 3, 4
yeah,
weeks on at a time.
to me,
Yeah.
that was always, you are giving up so much of your life
Yes.
away from friends and family. Whereas I think for you, you're 4 days on, 3 days home,
4
which
days on, 3 days
is, we're blessed that you have that split.
Yeah.
But what do you say to people who maybe look at it and go, FIFO's not worth it, you spend too much time away? What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, take the glass half full approach. Spending too much time away is the glass half empty. Look at how much time you get to spend at home. FIFO is not for everyone. Planes aren't for everyone. Sleeping in camps isn't for everyone. I don't want to tell people to do FIFO mining.
It's different for everyone though,
It's
right?
different experiences for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that, you know, I'm in a project manager role now, you know, blue collared roles. I've got to be on site every week, and I'm lucky that I've got that 4 and 3 roster. I think if I was working 2 weeks on at a time and maybe 2 weeks off, probably wouldn't work for us.
I don't think
Because
so.
that 2 weeks apart, you know,
It's hard.
that's a different conversation again.
Yeah.
But that would be very difficult.
And I think that's...
But everyone's different. You just got to work out what works for you. And communication is the key to success.
Yeah.
If you're factoring in family, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. So,
and I think we've talked about this as well, in that there's this saying, or that it's commonly known in FIFO in particular, that relationships or families and things, it's known that they don't last, or there's issues because they're away for so long, and there's communication breakdowns, or there is, particularly people who are away from their kids, they're away for a significant amount of time, they come back, kids are used to routine and a certain parent, and that's a really hard dynamic. So I guess touch on that a little bit, because you have the insider perspective of what do you notice with the people that you work with, the conversations that they have around that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. Even on the 4 days on, 3 days off part's tough. Like, a lot of people I work with are single. I don't know them on a deep enough level to say whether work impacts that or not. I'm lucky I've got you, I suppose. You can put up with it.
Not forever.
Not forever.
Not forever. It's not a forever scenario, I don't think. Like, from my perspective, I see it as, if you do it and you do it for the money, and then you blow your money on stupid shit, you're just going to end up in debt and having to stay in that job to sustain a lifestyle. So I think you and I are very much on the same page in that it's a means to an end.
Yeah, and well, it's another stepping stone in my career.
Yeah.
Like I said at the start, I've got goals of working on the biggest projects in the world. You know, we're lucky enough here in Queensland, we've got the Olympics coming up in 2032. There's an enormous amount of infrastructure that needs to be built for that. So I'm really looking forward to see, you know, what might happen in that space as well. And that in itself be another risk. Like, there's probably going to be a time in the next couple of years where, if an opportunity presented itself here in Maroochydore, contracting to the Queensland government or whatever, then it'd be hard to say no. Yeah, that in itself is a risk. I think I'd find it very difficult to go back to working on the contractor side of the fence, because the money's not the same.
Yeah.
It is a lot less. And the hours and the stress, in my experience, are a lot higher as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to find that right balance.
And so, with your experience and everything that you have gone through, the different companies that you worked for and where you are now, what would be something that you have learned, or something that has become really apparent to you that maybe has taken you quite a long time to realize, that would be helpful for other people to understand or to know?
Don't be a number. Put yourself out there and create opportunities for yourself. That's my biggest piece of advice, because if I didn't do that, I would have spent 6 years in the classroom at Newcastle University and walked away with a piece of paper and zero experience.
Yeah.
Every role, every opportunity that I've been given, I've created for myself. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and have a crack. Just have a crack. Because if you don't, you'll be left to die wandering.
Yeah.
It is scary. It's very scary. So
What's the scariest part? Because most people And I would argue that people listening to this, people may be sharing with their partners because most of my audience will be female. But I do like the idea of people potentially sharing this with their partners.
Yeah.
What's scary about it? And how do you push through that? Because you know it's scary, but you do it anyway.
So when I left for civil contracting before when we moved up here, and one of my best mates, shout out to Goody, he was like, "You're stupid.
You'll love that.
You're stupid. What are you doing? They're savage. Like, as soon as the work dries up, you're gone." I'm like, "Nah, it's not like that, mate. It's not like that." He'll ring me on a Friday and he's just come off 5 straight night shifts, placing gravel in a median strip in Hexham, eyes hanging out of his head. And I'm sitting in my tracksuit pants and Ugg boots at home, sipping on a coffee, punching out a couple of emails. I'm like, "Pretty good, mate. Pretty good. There's a spot up here if you want it." They're screaming for people. And it took him, I'm not quite 18 months up here yet, but let's go 12 months to convince him that it was a good idea. And the worries were the same worries that we had, is that job security, leaving that safety net of the family business. And, but yeah.
Now he's up here.
Now he's up here.
Yeah,
I
think
he's
pulled a couple.
Finished his 4th swing now. And I spoke to him earlier today. He's at a caravan park at Anna Bay with his family, caravan, sipping on a hard solo.
Nice. That's so nice.
Just living the dream.
Yeah.
And,
but that was what Dan was for you, was the opportunity, or not opportunity provider, but just someone to give you a chance.
Yeah.
And you obviously had to say yes and commit to it. Same with Goody.
Yeah.
He has had to do that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I remember when we were sitting on the lounge and he'd called you a couple of times and he's like, "Em, what am I doing?" And I was thinking about, well, this is what I do on sales calls when people are really fearful.
Objection
You objection handle them, yeah. Because it always, and it's not just to use on a sales call because it's an analogy or a trick. It is truth. In anything where there is risk or things feel scary, it's a matter of, will you do it or you don't? And are you happy to look back? Are you happy to look back and say, "I didn't do it because I was scared"?
Yeah.
People don't realize that it is really simple when it comes down to, if you're fearful of something, what is more scary? Doing what you're doing now or having a crack? And I would argue that no one has ever regretted having a crack at something, whether it works out or not, because there's always a lesson to be learned. There's always growth from that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Couldn't have said that better myself. Every opportunity is a new experience.
Yeah.
Every new experience will create a new opportunity. Yeah.
So what's next for you?
I've got a pretty big portfolio of work in Central Queensland for the next 2 years. Very recently, just started my own business, which is really cool. I sent my first tax invoice the other day.
Tax invoice?
Yeah.
What do you mean, just invoice?
Not tax invoice, same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, sent my first invoice the other day. I've got a lot of work out there, and my arrangement with the mining company I work for now is that I'm a full-blown contractor under my own ABN, but subcontracting through Dan, who we spoke about earlier. I don't really know where that's going to go over the next 2 years, but it is there. It is ticking along. I do have visions of employing some people and bringing them along for the journey, and it would be even more cool if I could be what Dan was to me for someone else. So I've spoken to a few people about that already up there, and they're in the same boat that I was in 18 months ago. They're like, "That's too good to be true."
Yeah.
What do you mean you're working 4 days on and 3 days off? Like, I think a goal of mine for over the next 2 years is not only deliver this portfolio of projects that I've been tasked with completing. A goal of mine is to help one person make a significant change and try and provide that safety net or security that person might need to make that change and open their eyes to the opportunities that I've been given. So that's my plan for the next 2 years. Yeah, that's my plan.
I want to touch on something. When we talked about risk earlier, particularly in the contracting side, in that when you're a contractor, and technically I am as well, I contract myself to businesses, what I have learned, and I'm interested with your thoughts on this, is that even if you're a contractor, at the end of the day, you become your own guarantee. You become your own security blanket, because if you are a contractor, businesses employ you for the skill set that you have and what you can deliver for them.
Yep.
And so you can think that being in a salary-based position, that income coming in is nice and safe because it's there no matter what, doesn't matter the work that you put in. But when you turn contractor side, once you learn the lesson that you can become your own guarantee, then you don't really need to feel like you need that safety net. And I think what prompted me before was when you said that even in your own team and even in where you are now, some people have been let go.
Yep.
But from my perspective, I think that you have built yourself to be a complete asset, that even if it gets down to having to take people out from your job site, they will never get rid of you. You're too good because you've built yourself up to be as good as you are with all of the things that you've done.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Humbly, I'll agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all comes back to that.
Yeah.
That hard work, people skills, and just getting shit done.
Yeah.
Like, we get paid good money, and if I put my employer hat on, I expect results. I'd expect to see results, and that's all it is. Just work hard, get your shit done.
Any closing advice?
Yeah, have a crack. Just, if you've got any sort of inkling you might want to try something else, provided you've got that security blanket to fall back on, just do it. And it doesn't even have to be moving to Queensland.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be as extravagant.
No, it doesn't have to be as extravagant.
Yeah.
If you're a teacher and your passion lies in beauty therapy, as an example, but you're worried you don't have the skills or whatever, you've always got teaching there as a fallback. Even, well, for you now, moving into sales, if it all implodes and it doesn't work out for you, what are you going to do? You're probably going to go back to being a teacher.
I disagree, but I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I would do anything but, because I've
You've got
learned
that
that I can make it work in other things, but you're
You've
right.
got that 7 or 8 years experience as
Yeah.
a teacher and a deputy. That's your fallback.
I mean,
you might
if
not like
things
it.
became absolutely dire
Yeah.
and we lived in a universe where there was no other option, but
Yeah,
I agree with what you're saying.
You probably work at McDonald's.
I actually really enjoyed working at Macca's. I really did. I loved packing the bags.
Yeah.
Because they're all so neat and tidy.
That's my advice. Have a crack, but make sure you have a plan B if it doesn't work.
Well, thanks for coming on.
That's all right.
I appreciate
I had
you.
fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
I
think it's nice to even just unpack this with you. I mean, we've never sat down and had a conversation like this from start to your journey to end. I've just been there along the way. But from my perspective, sitting here now listening to it, I've always known that you were amazing at what you do. And that's been a big part of, I think, why we have connected so well and why we even got together in the first place. We're both very driven to do things, but
to be the best at everything all the time.
But I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
I'm proud of you too.
Thanks. Anyway, thanks for coming on.
That's okay.
Love you.
Love you too.